is a story about a girl named Lucky. Just kidding. This is the story about the first time I went on a date with a girl. The reason why I'm laughing is because I look like this at the end.
Are we cringing yet?
Oh, okay. This is my dog licking my tears off of my face. Anyways, let me set the scene for you. This is in Toronto. I personally feel like the girls are prettier in Toronto because sorry, someone called me. I personally think the girls are prettier in Toronto just because they're more natural and everybody looks different. Everyone in LA looks the same. Everyone in LA looks like we're both like femmes, so I don't really know who's like how the dynamic goes. This is my first time ever going out with a girl. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna plan it. I'm like, hey, meet me here at this time. I made us a reservation and yeah. She's like, perfect. Never been in that place before, but it looks good. See you soon. And I'm like, oh, jittery because this is my first time ever going on a date. I'm a girl date virgin. We meet in the restaurant in the city because city girls. We meet at the restaurant. We order drinks. I want to loosen up a little bit. We have good conversation. It's going good. And the day that we went out was a Friday. So she was like, oh my God, my friend just hit me up. We could go to this party. You want to go to a party? I'm like, hell yeah. So I pay for the check because I don't know how the dynamic works. You know, we pull up to the place. We pull up to the spot. We looking cute. Fuck together. I'm feeling good about myself. And we meet the guy who invited her. And this is the downfall of the story. This is where it starts going downhill. Pulls me to the side and she's like, oh, by the way, I'm so sorry. This guy, he's just like obsessed with me. And I'm like, okay, queen, I get it. Like, you're pretty. I don't really care. Like, it's cool. We talking on the balcony, having a good time. This bitch, Robert, comes. I actually don't know his name. It was like Robert, Jack, Jake, one of those. Like, you get the picture. And Jake, whatever this man's name was, kept doing that the entire night. Hey, it's shot o'clock. You guys are too pretty to not be taking shots right now. Like that guy. The guy that is going to give you a hug type guy. And you know, at first I didn't really care. I was like, you're fine. Come on, let's go. And then after like 5 times, I was like, okay, bitch. Enough is enough. That's when I started drinking for revenge. And that's when I'm like, this man is trying to steal my date. And that's when I started getting less spicy. I was like, why are you so obsessed with us? Like, why are you so obsessed? Like, I was like, leave us alone. No, in a funny way. But then she started entertaining it. This is the moment that I started drinking out of, I was going through all 5 stages of grief. And then he started touching her, which I was like, ew, with a dick, disgusting me. And she told me, she's like, honestly, I think I'm just gonna sleep over here. And she was like, we should do this again sometime. And I was like, what the Literally, I wasn't confident in my sexuality and that just made me more insecure. We were all talking, but at the end, it came to a point where like they were on a date and I was just third wheeling. So I was like, okay, girl, I'm just gonna call my Uber home. I get in my Uber and my Uber asked me, he's like, how was your night? And I started crying. He doesn't like speak very much English and I was just crying inside. There's no music. But I hope that she got a little something that night because all that I got was trauma.
So let me get this straight. This woman decides to go on a date with another woman. She plans the date, she pays for the date, she organizes it, and at the end of the date, she goes home in tears because after doing all of these things, her date just decides to leave with another random dude. Okay, I have no sympathy. Moreover, guys, I find this hilarious because you'll have all of these people out here saying, you know, why are men refusing to date? Why aren't men courting us anymore? There used to be a time where men planned dates and they were looking for marriage and all that kind of crap, right? And this is one of the many reasons why dudes aren't, you know, going through all of these hoops anymore, because women literally just decide while they're out on another date with you just to go hang out, just to go with another guy, and then have the audacity at the end of the night to say, oh, you know, we could do this again, right? After you've paid for everything, organized everything, and taken her out. She wants to do it again sometime, but she wants to go home with a different guy. Absolutely hilarious. But what is going on, guys? It is Taylor The Fiend back again with another response video. And on today's show, guys, we are going to be kicking it off by breaking down this rather unique clip here from this woman who goes home in tears after deciding to go out with another woman. Now, guys, before we jump into it, as always, remember to come and join us over on Locals. The link is in the description, guys. It is totally free to join if you're interested in supporting the channel. There is also a support option for that. But bits and pieces of YouTube content, guys, will be slowly moved over there just because we really don't know what the hell we're allowed to say on YouTube anymore, and you never know, this stuff can really just be a matter of time. make sure that you come and join us over on Locals. But guys, we're going to be jumping into this clip. As always, remember to leave your thoughts and subscribe on your way in. Let's take a listen. Oops, I don't have the volume on. Goodness.
This is the story about the first time I went on a date with a girl. The reason why I'm laughing is because I look like this at the end. Oh, okay. This is my dog licking my tears off of my face. Anyways, let me set the scene for you. This is in Toronto. I personally feel like the girls are prettier in Toronto because I'm sorry, someone called me. I personally think the girls are prettier in Toronto just because they're more natural and everybody looks different. Everyone in LA looks the same. Everyone in LA looks like we're both like.
Do you guys find it weird how girls will like, they'll have a quote unquote a bad experience, right? And then they'll like take photos of themselves crying so they can archive it for later and show people. Like, again, guys, I feel like I need to remind you guys whenever we see a video like this video is publicly available, right? This individual is just showing pictures of them crying on it. Like there's something to be said for humility and opening up to people and whatever, but why are we just dumping our personal lives on the internet? Do you guys find that weird? I find that to be incredibly weird, where people just throw all this stuff on the internet, literally take pictures of themselves crying, like as if it's some sort of like a medal or badge of honor. Like, okay.
Femme, so I don't really know who's like how the dynamic goes. This is my first time ever going out with a girl. So
I'm going to play that back so you guys can hear that, okay? So this woman is confused because, she's trying to get at here. She doesn't know who's going to be, the masculine one and who's going to be the feminine one. Little does this woman realize, this is 2022, guys. There are none of these gender roles. Just go with it. Nothing. Hell, why don't none of you pay for the date, Why don't you guys just go to a restaurant and neither of you pay and you just walk out? Screw those gender roles where one person pays. You know what I'm saying, guys? It's funny because she's not allowed to say, it's socially unacceptable at this point in society, which is damn wild, isn't it? She's not allowed to say that there are like gender roles, right?
LA looks like we're both like femme, so I don't really know who's like how the dynamic goes.
Yeah, you don't know who's the one who's supposed to do everything. That's what it means, right? You're not sure who's the man, so by extension, who by default has to pay for crap and who by default has to lead the situation, because that's what men are expected to do. And again, like, I have nothing against, dudes being expected to lead and pay for stuff. The problem that we have is when the entitlement comes in. Dudes are oftentimes more than happy to pay for dates and take you out and show you experiences and stuff like that. But the moment you expect these things from men, moreover, when nothing is given in return, yeah, good luck out there dating, ladies.
This is my first time ever going out with a girl. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna plan it. I'm like, hey, meet me here at this time. I made us a reservation and yeah. She's like, perfect. Never been in that place before, but it looks good. See you soon. I'm like, oh, jittery because this is my first time ever going on a date. I'm a girl date virgin. We meet in the restaurant in the city because city girls. We meet at the restaurant. We order drinks. I want to loosen up a little bit. We have good conversation. It's going good. And the day.
To credit this woman here, like, to give credit, I'm surprised that she planned that. Most times when you hear stories like this, both of the girls are shy and like nobody will plan or do anything. So like it's surprising to see a story like this where this woman takes the initiative and actually plans the date and sets out what to do. And this is part of the reason why I say, like, dude, if you're a guy and you're out there and you're choosing to date, if you're not setting or doing anything, like you're not moving, like if you're not setting what's going to happen, please understand that your date is going to go nowhere. Okay, if you don't like plan what to do, and where the night's going to end up, please believe me when I say that your night will end up in some place that's just totally random. Right, like a lot of dudes will get in these situations, not lead anything, and then be surprised. When nothing happened. Because quite honestly, guys, if you let a girl lead on a date, it's very rare that like you're just going to be taken on like some sort of mystery tour type crap.
And then we went out, was a Friday. So she was like, oh my God, my friend just hit me up. We could go to this party. You want to go to a party? I'm like, hell yeah. So I paid for the check because I don't know how dynamic work. We pull up to the place, we pull up to the spot, we looking fuck together, I'm feeling good about myself. And we meet the guy who invited her, and this is the downfall of the story. This is where it starts going downhill. Pulls me to the side, and she's like, oh, by the way, I'm so sorry, this guy, he's just like obsessed with me. And I'm like, okay, queenie, I get it, like you're pretty, I don't really care, like it's we talking.
it's kind of like when I hear this stuff, it's almost like just an immediate red flag. Like girls feel the need to say, like, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of women will have this need to say, like, oh, I'm valuable because men like me. Like, they'll like pick a dude and they'll say, look at this guy, he's just obsessed with me, right? So as almost to like validate them and make them look as though they're someone who's desirable, right? Like, a lot of dudes are really surprised to find out. So like you hear some of this crap, and a lot of the times, like, the girls are just, what they're doing is they insult, like, they automatically pitch as though dudes are below them so that they can appear more valuable to other people. I say this like every time this situation comes up, and the fact of the matter is that it comes up so damn often. Right, so bear in mind at this point, okay? So this woman has planned the date, she has paid for the date, and then I believe they're going to an after party and a dude's there, okay? And this is apparently where things start to go downhill.
On the balcony, having a good time, this bitch Robert comes. I actually don't know his name. It was like Robert, Jack, Jake, one of those, like, you get the picture. And Jake, whatever this man's name was, kept doing that the entire night. Hey, it's shot o'clock. You guys are too pretty to not be taking shots right now. Like, that guy. The guy that is gonna give you a hug type guy. And at first I didn't really care. I was like, you're fine, come on, let's go. And then after like 5 times, I was like, okay, bitch, enough is enough. That's when I started drinking for revenge. And that's when I'm like, this man is trying to steal my date. And that's when I started getting on his face. I was like, why are you so obsessed with us? Like, why are you so obsessed? Like, I was like, leave us alone. No, in a funny way. But then she started entertaining it.
Yeah. Right, and this is the way it goes, okay? And this happens to dudes. This is something that happens to dudes in 4-year relationships, in 20-year relationships, in 6-month relationships, in 2-month relationships, okay? Girls get this idea in their head that they can replace a dude or their date, which happens to be this woman in this instance, just because at any time, just because they're replaceable. Right, and this is why as well, like, if you're a dude and you say, like, oh, you don't want your girlfriend on Instagram, if she's got an account, she's just taking like photos of, like, there's just like a whole bunch of photos of herself and it's clearly just advertisement for dudes. You, as a guy, you'll be called insecure, you'll be called narcissistic, you'll be called the A word, whatever the case may be. When what a lot of these girls are doing is they're really opening up recruitment to have other dudes and other options enter their lives, and then they slowly start entertaining them, right? And girls will play this off as like, oh, we're just talking, or I just want to sleep here for the night, or we've all heard this one, right? He's just a friend, crap like this. Because what these situations allow for, crap like Instagram or going to a party and this situation here, is the woman's able to have plausible deniability, right? And be able to say, oh, well, you shouldn't assume these things, but because you assumed, now I'm going to go with another guy, or now I'm going to go do this instead. And it's no wonder the dudes aren't interested in dating, like, taking girls seriously anymore, because the fact of the matter is, if women want to treat men as though, or their dates, so for example this woman right here, as though they're so easily replaceable, and they do replace them, what is the point of going out here and spending all this money on girls and doing all this crap when you can just say, hey, come over for some wine, or we should meet at a place, insert place near my house, and that's going to be that if she's actually interested in you.
This is the moment that I started drinking I was going through all 5 stages of grief. And then he started touching her, which I was like, ew, with a dick, disgusting. And she told me, she's like, honestly, I think I'm just going to sleep over here. And she was like, we should do this again sometime. And I was like, what the
Yeah, right. And because she has the audacity, get this, okay? So I actually feel for this woman right here, right? Because what she's done is, at the start I said I have no sympathy. I shouldn't say that's entirely true for this woman right here. And the reason that I say that is because this is the situation that many men find themselves in, okay? Which is, you pay for everything, you do everything, you try to make your partner happy, you do everything for them, and then they say, oh, and then they slowly start to inch away. Like in this woman's case, she just gets straight up ditched on the date, right? Which I'm sure has happened to many of you guys in the audience. I shouldn't have said, like, I don't sympathize at all with the situation, because this is something that men go through a hell of a lot, right? So she's paid for everything, she's organized everything, and now she literally just gets ditched for this dude who, bear in mind, the woman that she's on the date with at the beginning said that, oh, he's just obsessed with her, blah, 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 and like seemed to try kind of downplay it. And here they are, and she's staying at this dude's house, or the, you know, the party house or whatever.
Literally, I wasn't confident in my sexuality, and that just made me more insecure. We were all talking, but at the end, it came to a point where, like, they were on a date, and I was just third wheeling. So I was like, okay, girl, I'm just gonna call my Uber home. I get in my Uber, and my Uber asked me, he's like, how was your night? And I started crying. He doesn't, like, speak very much English, and I was just crying inside. There's no music. But I hope that she got a little something that night, because all that I got was trauma.
Yeah, and that's the way it goes, right? You see, and like this stuff happens very, very often and multiple times to men, right? But all of a sudden, like when it's a woman, it's like, oh, everyone's like, oh, I'm so sorry, queen, blah, blah, blah. You know, everyone sympathizes with her. But this literally just happens to men all of the damn time. And like nobody gives a crap. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny when it happens to them. Like, I'll be honest, guys. It's honestly kind of funny when it happens to them. But, you know, it is what it is. But, guys, we are going to be continuing with some more clips momentarily. These are going to be some shorter ones. So, you know, as we go through, as always, guys, remember to subscribe. Come and join us over on Locals. And as always, remember to leave your thoughts and your comments. Now, let's take a listen to this woman next, which, you know, these, for some reason... Like, there are things that we see in so many clips, guys, that I just immediately start to associate with red flags. I'm going to be honest with you guys. This particular glasses, particularly on women, right? Not so much dudes, but on girls, I swear to you, it's actually a huge red flag. It screams to me like, I read womanist literature, and I've learned about the male gaze at university, so I don't like men very much. Like, that's what these glasses communicate to me at this point.
Bought myself some flowers, which reminded me that I've never bought flowers for myself, even though I have bought them for a man who let them rot and mold for months, much like he let our relationship. So if you're thinking of giving flowers to a man, just buy them for yourself instead. He doesn't deserve them.
Yeah, again, what fantastic advice, right? And again, I see situations where girls will say, you know, I put a lot of effort into the relationship. I do absolutely everything. I treat him like a, you know, I do absolutely everything for him, right? And quite often when girls are doing this, they don't even get the funny thing is they're not even getting a relationship out of it. Typically, they're getting a situationship. And it's like, you're spending all of your time trying to lock down Chad and you expect me to sympathize? No. Absolutely not. Dudes will be in marriages doing this stuff, trying to hold their marriage together to keep the woman happy, and it doesn't work. You're out here chasing Chad and you want to pretend as if these things are the same. Oh, hell no.
And just buy them for yourself instead. He doesn't deserve them.
Where's your boyfriend, husband, whatever? Why do you sit here?
Why do you think I have one?
Because you're too good looking to not have one.
It's my shitty personality.
Hi, this is a PSA for all people on dating apps. Stop lying about age. Oh, my real age is 50, but it says 30. I don't know how that happened. Yeah, you do. You literally did it on purpose, you weirdo.
Okay. Look, I agree with her, right? You know, don't be lying on your age on dating apps, especially by 20 years. But as always, guys, I have a bit of a counter question here. If you don't want people to lie about their age and perhaps by extension lie about their income or their job position or their height, you know, if you don't want people to lie on dating apps, I'm just going to make this suggestion right off the bat. You shouldn't be allowed to, one, use a filter, and two, use makeup on dating apps. Like how about that? And maybe if dudes have to like accurately display their height or some crap like that, right? Maybe you should have to put your weight, right? But nobody wants to talk about that, right? Everyone will like. It's funny how people will like shame men for being short or, you know, putting an accurate height. And then like girls are out here pretending like, oh yeah, by the way, I took this photo from like 3 years ago. But if you judge me because I weigh a different amount, now we have an issue. But you know, I agree with this girl here. You know, don't lie about your age. But the counter question always becomes, okay, remove the makeup then. To which they'll say, oh hell no.
What happened? Yeah, you do. You literally did it on purpose, you weirdo.
The same people who hate on you will eventually mimic you because they studied you so hard looking for flaws they got inspired without even knowing it. That's what happens when your light is so bright it shines even on the darkest spirits. Shine, baby, shine.
This is a story about
What on earth did I just witness? I have no idea what the hell that even was. Let's just move on to the next clip. I've got to skip past this woman who tells us her life story. And then we finally end up with this clip right here.
Bought my
Which, of course, you know, she says on the TikTok right here, when you realize you're 35 and have never experienced true reciprocal love. I don't know, maybe you should actually, you know, go with the dudes who are interested in you rather than the ones who aren't, and you'd probably have a lot higher success rate. But what the hell do I know? Guys, let's jump into today's magazine article. Now, you might recall the last few episodes, guys, we've been reading the same magazine article because, quite frankly, it's just as terrible dating advice. But that last one actually wrapped up with some good points, which is very surprising to me. Now, this is from the same website, guys, and check this out, okay? This article, right, on the topic of dating here, this article is titled, Duty Dating is a Thing and You Need to Start Doing It ASAP, because, you know, what better way, guys, to go about, you know, your dating life than to treat it like it's a marathon, to treat it like it's a thing where you need 50,000 data points, in other words, hookups, to actually figure out what kind of partner that you should have, right? Girls will always say this thing like, oh, you know, I kissed a whole lot of frogs, but now that I've come across you, now that I know that you're the prince. But it's like these women knew that these dudes were frogs the entire time, and now they want to quote unquote, like, they feel as though they're settling with you and you should feel privileged. It's disgusting. But this is why I say, like, look, duty dating. Dating is not a marathon where you need to go from like one person to the next, to the next, to the next. But hey, let's take a listen, okay? Now, this is written by a woman named Jennifer Lee, and it has a tag on it that says single AF. So you already know this website's going to be just absolutely full of gems. So let's take a read of this. And, you know, I think I might have covered this like a very, very long time ago. I'm not sure. I feel like this is new, but I'm not too sure. Let's take a read. If you're feeling trapped in singledom, you need to try duty dating. That means going on dates with any guy that asks, no matter who he is and whether or not you're actually into him. Say yes anyway and get out there. You'll be glad that you did when the right one finally comes along. Seriously, say yes to everybody. It doesn't matter what he looks like, how old he is, or what he does for a living. If he asks you out, you have to say yes. Don't get it twisted though. This isn't about settling or even about finding the perfect guy. It's really about boosting your confidence and figuring out what you truly want. Yeah, so in other words, just use men as a means to boost your fragile self-esteem. And that's a fantastic foundation for dating. What a great idea. We're already off to a fantastic start here, Jennifer. Brilliant stuff. Let's take a listen to point number 2. You need to fill up your calendar with as many dates as possible in order to get the most. And guys, again, this is, you know, a woman's dating advice to other single women out there who are trapped in singledom. And this is why a lot of girls, when you listen to them, they will keep their friends in like perpetual singledom, right? It's crap like this. In order to get the most out of duty dating, you should be actively trying to fill up your social calendar with as many dates as possible. And go every night if you can. Dating will now be your main source of social entertainment. The best dating/relationship advice on the web, sponsored. We're not reading that garbage. Point number 4. You don't have to take it seriously. In fact, you probably shouldn't. Duty dating is a way for a woman who's been single for a long time to get back out there. Sure, but it's hard to do that when you've spent so long on your own. The best way to counteract the awkwardness you're feeling about getting back out into the dating field is to see duty dating as practice. You aren't expecting it to go anywhere. If anything, you're hoping it won't go anywhere. What you'll find is that the more practice dates you go on, the less nervous you'll be about dating in general. Yeah, so let's just waste dudes' time, right? And this is why it's very difficult for me to have empathy for situations where like girls are like, oh, you know, don't waste my time. Because the question always becomes, okay, what have you been doing with men's time all of this time? Have you been taking them seriously? Have you been wasting their time? Or what exactly is going on? Come to find out, you know, a lot of these girls are out here doing what's known as duty dating. Okay, so like you're going out with dudes for practice and to boost your self-confidence. What does that communicate to men? Does that communicate, hey guys, you should go out here, you should get married, you should put effort into these women, you should date them, traditionally speaking? See, because here's the thing, we have a lot of dudes walking away from dating in general and saying, I'm just not interested. But we have a lot of dudes who are walking away from dating in the sense that they're not courting you anymore. You know, like they'll have the casual fun with you, but that doesn't mean that they're going to go out here and actually take you seriously, right? So when you say, oh, I just want a guy to court me, crap like this is exactly what causes men. One of the reasons why men say, yeah, no, I'm not really interested. Next one. Use apps to your advantage, she says. Dating apps have made duty dating extremely easy. Just say yes to the first few guys who ask you to meet up for drinks or dinner, and you're set for the week. You'll have to deal with flaky dudes here and there, of course, but assuming you're getting 20 plus messages a week, there will always be another guy who's happy to take you out. Awesome, right? Yeah, just absolutely. You know, it is a rarity, I think, for dudes to get 20 plus messages a week on dating apps, right? And these girls act as if dating is a difficult, a difficult thing for them. And people will say like, oh, you know, a girl's mating strategy is different. She's out there, she's looking for quality. If you're telling me that you can't find a quality guy and you're receiving, 20 plus propositions a week, that's really not the men's problem. It really it says more about you and what you think that you're entitled to. Many women seem to think that they themselves, although they think they overestimate their own self-value because of the amount of validation that they receive online. There are plenty of quality matches available to women. They just feel as though they're above those people. So again, no sympathy. Not only should you schedule as many dates as possible, but you should be dating at least 3 guys at the same time. Gonna highlight that. You'll be finding yourself feeling and acting more confident, and you won't get so upset when one of those dates doesn't work out, because in the back of your mind, you know you'll get another chance with someone else tomorrow. Now, this is pretty close to the logic that, of spinning plates. And I'll say this, right? A lot of people will say like, oh, they'll see like other content creators advocating for, dating multiple women at once or whatever, or, not dating casually. Or hell, I've even made the case for dating casually, right? You'll see arguments like that, and dudes will say like, oh, that's immoral. I don't want to treat women like that. And I find it interesting how a lot of men are just unaware to the fact that girls naturally date multiple men at the same time, typically. Like, you think that these girls with open Tinder accounts, open Bumble accounts, open Instagram accounts are not seeing a small handful of men at any given time? You're out of your mind. Out of your mind. And beyond that, they're typically out here taking attention from more dudes, keeping them as orbiters. Anyway, point number 7. Give each person at least 3 chances. Even if the date goes horribly wrong and you don't really want to see the guy again, give him 2 more chances. Everyone is human, and a lot of people get first date jitters. A really awesome part of his personality could be hiding behind nervousness, so give him a chance to let his true personality shine through. And you see, like, I actually agree with this point, right? A lot of women will throw out dudes just off of minor crap that they, without actually... girls will think like, oh, I can just easily replace a guy, so why would I even bother? So I agree with that, but again, it's not going to be enough. Like, this point is really not going to deter women from just throwing out dudes just because they get bored or because he has something quirky about him. Point number 8, remember that you're playing a numbers game. Dating has turned into playing a numbers game, and if you're not playing it, you're not serious about getting into a relationship. When you duty date, you're going on as many dates as you can possibly handle. You're putting your judgmental side to the bed and giving every guy who approaches or messages you an equal chance, despite just before saying that even if you're not interested in them, you should, whatever. Who knows what your millions of dates will eventually lead to? Chances are one of them is gonna stick. Yeah, what a fantastic dating strategy, right? Just go out there, see a whole bunch of dudes, hell, in all likelihood, hook up with a whole bunch of them, and then finally you're gonna find your Prince Charming. Absolutely disgusting. Let's continue on to the last point here, and then we're going to have a look at a Reddit story. Point number 9, accept that it's going to get boring at times. It'll be exciting at first, but after a while, it's going to feel more like an actual duty, pun totally intended, than something fun to do. It'll almost feel like work, but just know that the deeper you get into it, the better you'll get at dating. Yeah, guys, because apparently, right, dating is just like a marathon where you need to go out and see a whole bunch of dudes in order to be any good at it, because, of course, that's just a perfectly acceptable take to have nowadays, I guess. But guys, let's jump into today's Reddit story, because that article is giving me a damn headache. Now, check out the title on this one. Okay, so we have here posted on relationships over 35, posted a couple days ago, of an individual here saying yellow with the name Yellow One Koala, asking, does wondering if there's something better go away? So let's take a listen to this. Currently dating a guy for about 9 months. We're both in our mid-30s. He's a great guy, but doesn't check all of my boxes, and I know the chances of someone checking all of them are slim to none. But I find that I keep wondering if there's something better out there. I recently met someone through a friend and thought to myself, wow, this guy seems to check all of my boxes. This is all probably superficial because I don't know him well and we haven't spent much time together. There's nothing going on there, of course, but it just makes me question myself. Is there someone better if I leave, or am I just having these thoughts because of this new person I randomly met through a friend? I had these thoughts even before meeting this person, since my boyfriend did not check all of my boxes from the get-go, but the thoughts and questions seem to have intensified after meeting the friend of a friend. Please help me make sense of this. And guys, this, you know, you would hope that this thing has been downvoted to hell, okay? But it's actually got upvotes on it. It actually has 14 upvotes on it. But it's actually disgusting. So here we have a woman who's dating her boyfriend for 9 months, saying that he doesn't check all of the boxes, and she's just sitting here wondering if the grass is greener on the other side. And this is the crap again. These are the kind of conversations, by the way, so it sounds as though she has spent some time with this guy, but she says not altogether that much. Where do you think these, like, this is where the, oh, he's just a friend conversations come from in the Instagram inboxes, right? It's just absolutely disgusting. This girl's sitting in a 9-month relationship with a guy, treating him as though he's some, like, asset that she can just trade up for if she has the chance given to her. And but bear in mind, this woman is thinking about this while she's in her mid-30s, and again, people are expecting dudes to go out here taking relationships seriously when this is the kind of crap that's running rampant. Okay, but guys, we are going to be calling today's episode there. As always, remember to leave your thoughts and your comments below, guys. It's always interesting to see what you gentlemen have to say. You guys often, you know, pick up on things that I don't catch up on, or I make a terrible point and you guys slap me in the face for it, which is always fantastic to see. So make sure you drop some comments, guys. Share your opinions, share your experiences. As always, remember to come and join us over on Locals. The link is in the description. It's totally free to join, guys. If you're interested in becoming a supporter of the show, there is also an option for that, but it's by no means required. And as always, guys, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace. Yo, what is going on, guys? Past Taylor here. Just want to say thank you if you made it to the end of today's video. Before you head out, there's just a few announcements that I'd like to make. The first is that my editor, who goes through all of the blood, sweat, and tears of putting together these videos for us to endure, has started his own YouTube channel. I'm going to leave a link to his channel in the video description below, so make sure that you go and show him some support by going and giving him a sub. Also, at the very bottom of the video descriptions, there is a link for those of you who are interested in becoming an editor. I'm not sure how long I'm going to leave these applications open for, but if you're interested in working with me behind the scenes, there will be a link at the very bottom of the video description. Lastly, guys, as always, don't forget to come and join us over on Locals. You guys might have noticed that a lot of YouTube content creators are kind of branching off to different platforms, and that's because we really don't know what we're allowed to say or do, and a lot of us don't really know how long we will be around for. So guys, make sure that you come and join us over on Locals. It's totally free to join. There's a support option if you're interested. There's also exclusive content and stuff like that over there, but it's totally free if you're just wanting to go and join, guys. The link is in the description, so make sure that you come and join us. But as always, guys, make sure you're taking care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.